I'd like to welcome you to my little shop of spirit. In today's reading, we are going to be asking the question, what is it about you that turns heads? So I've already shuffled the cards. We'll just go ahead and get into it. If you're here for pile one, then you're already in the right spot. Let's go ahead and get started. So pile one, what is it about you that turns heads? Let's go over physical features first. We have small nose, stubble, callous. So this is also personality features as well. We have green eyes, tanning bed, flaky, and outlaw. So something about you says to others, you are an outlaw. We also have here zeal, passion that burns through all. I'm getting the vibe of like the door of like the split doors of a saloon being kicked open. That's like your vibe. Totally cowboy is coming through. For the masculines. For the feminines, we're just getting like, just outlaws still. We have here the mermaid's veil, representing mystery, otherworldly energy, otherworldly connection. You offer people like, it's funny that we said like a cowboy and saloon and all this, you transport people to another time. So we'll just continue on with that metaphor. If not literally a cowboy, whatever your metaphor is, but it's like you transport people to the Wild West, for example. You teleport people to the time and place it is that you aesthetically brandish. Hidden realms, the veil between worlds, mystical protection, otherworldly beauty. It's interesting. It's like this is suggesting that you act as a sort of veil. People feel like when they look at you, they become mystified about what's on the other side. What's between you and the other side? What do you know and understand? What do you see that they don't? Stillness invites clarity and transformation. So I get the sense that you're like a quiet cowboy. The sort that may have kicked open the saloon doors but then walks quietly and stoically up to the bar. We have North Node in Virgo here, meaning life purpose and destiny is to seek order, serve others, and develop analytical skills. Now I'm getting the vibe of like an outlaw with a mission. Like you have someone to save and you're saving them alone. We also have Saturn in Virgo, so that means you are someone who meets discipline and challenges with practical, detail-oriented, analytical hard work. Okay, and that's still like going into that vein of just cowboy and outlaw. Like you are putting the grit in that needs to be done. People turn heads because they can envision their life with you. They see you as a potential partner for life. They see you as like arm candy, someone who they can impress others with. And some pretty potent messages here. We get, you are my eternal flame. So you are a muse for, if not one, then many. We also have like this card here where the image on it is a girl tightroping very delicately, which I guess what tightrope act isn't delicate, but she's tightroping between point A and B. And I get the sense that people feel like you are a very delicate act. And You're something to be watched. We have, for qualities come out for you, we have flexible, wise, open, and big. You take up space. You don't make yourself small for others. You turn heads because of that. For great figures from history, energies you can relate to as to why you turn heads, we get David Bowie and Bruce Lee. David Bowie represents the shapeshifter, transformation, creativity, and rebellion. Rebellion and outlaw, and that keeps coming through your message, Pile 1. We have, as the quote here, embrace reinvention. Self-expression is limitless. Identity crisis can arise from constant change, though. And the keywords here are, or the keyword, I guess the symbols rather, are lightning bolt, starman, and microphone. People like to watch you perform. That's coming through your cards. You have 2 performers, if that's what you want to call them, as far as like figures from history. And then on your tarot card itself, you have the tightroping girl. And I just noticed on my other official tarot card as well, it's the chariot. Like, you're being pulled through on this pedestal. It's like people like to watch you. Your determination and your ambition, your willpower, your control, and self-discipline and hard work and focus, the progress you make and how you triumph, your single-mindedness, the courage you have, these are things that make people turn heads. And for the meme card, we have Jasmine Masters and Aoop come out. So Jasmine Masters is representing the Hierophant. So the Hierophant is like your intuition and getting in touch with your intuition, the other realms. And it's like you stumble into this information. You stumble into, if your cowboy movie was a movie, even the serious aspects of it would be lightened by comedy. There would be some comedy in there still. Like, you stumble into the seriousness of it all. But Pile 1, I hope these messages for you about why you turn heads, how you turn heads, reached you in its entirety. If it did and you are still here, don't forget to leave a like and your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe so I can see you again. For now though, bye. 8:53:88 on my timer and 2:11 on my clock as we get started on your reading, Pile 2. I've already shuffled if you didn't see that part in the beginning, or if it wasn't included for some reason after editing. So let's go ahead and begin. Why do you turn heads? We get right away, I was running away. So you turn heads because people look at you like a fantasy option. When people are fantasizing about the greener grass, they're fantasizing about you. You instill within others a feeling of ecstasy. We have the supermoon card here, which represents transcendence through bliss, intense peak of joy and elation. People feel these feelings in thinking about you and what's possible with you. We also have Mermaid's Mirror here, representing self-reflection and vanity, self-awareness, beauty, introspection, the duality of appearance and reality. You turn heads because you are focused on yourself, and there's a word that I can't remember at the moment, but there's a word for like a woman who has like a distant focused gaze. It's not focused on the viewer and it's not focused on herself. It's focused like on a secondary peripheral location. And like supposedly this sort of gaze makes one seem more ethereal. You have that sort of gaze, like the sort of gaze where it's like you know others are looking at you, but you're not looking at them. We have Mercury in Sagittarius here, as well as in Capricorn. This means that when it comes to communication and thinking, you are philosophical, optimistic. You can be blunt. You can be very open. But you can also be very practical, disciplined, responsible, and ambitious. When it comes to how you love, we have Venus in Aries. People imagine that you are passionate, independent, enthusiastic, and bold because those are the energies that you present. And when it comes to Mars in Virgo, this is dealing with your energy and drive. You are one who is practical, hardworking, detail-oriented, and analytical. Your attention to detail brings people's attention to you. They want your attention to detail focused on them. We have 4 qualities here for you: meticulous, soft jawline, dark skin, clumsy, sunglasses, spray tan, and it's interesting to me because it's like people, I don't know if this is just a projection, but people in your distance, like how you're not focused on, you're in thought, you're lost in thought. People want to project like a falsity onto you, like you're two-faced, and I'm getting that with like dark skin and spray tan. Like people may question in this scenario with both of these coming up if your skin color is authentic or not. It's horrible, but people do that. And so it's like people question your authenticity. You may trigger others. You're like a very provocative entity. That's one reason why you turn heads. We also have large hands here. So, and also bald. And what I wanted to say with large hands and also with bald, these may not be like literal qualities that you have, but metaphorical qualities or symbols to look into. Like bald may be like attention to like your thinking patterns. And here, you are a very big thinker. So that's what I'm being called to there. And like large hands, you may not literally have large hands, but what I'm being called to is the feeling of the touch of large hands. So you instill like comfort, sacral comfort in others. For qualities, we also have these cards here. These next set of cards we have here, they deal with like opposites or dualities. So we have high and low. You appear as high. Birth and death. You appear as birth. Complete and incomplete. You appear as complete. We have a figure known as Boudica. I'm not familiar with this figure, so I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but she is the avenging queen, representing justice, resistance, and strength. You are the storm. This is why you turn heads, pile 2. You fight for what is right. You are being given a warning in your reading that rage can consume your purpose, but the symbols here are war chariot, spear, and burning city. You raise. That's what I'm hearing. Raze. You raise. Hell. And on our next card, we actually have the image of a girl that is releasing a dragon from beneath her dress. And this dragon is burning someone. Or, blowing a fiery flame towards someone on the ground. It's like, this is confirmation that you are the avenging queen. People know to not get on your bad side and to look out for you. It's because you've been backstabbed, betrayed, had enemies made, bad-mouthed, and you've seen rock bottom. You've been cursed. You've been unable to cope in the past. But you're someone who loves a challenge and you're unable to be defeated. That's something about you that turns heads. We have from the meme deck for you, pile 2, we have 4 of Pentacles represented by the meme, Where's the Lie? And Ace of Cups represented by Forrest Gump, Life is like a box of chocolates. You turn heads from people who see you, doing your thing. You turn heads because you just keep getting up. It doesn't matter how many times you are knocked down, you always get up. Pile 2, we're going to leave your reading off there today, 1717 on our timer as we do so. If these messages found you in their entirety, don't forget to leave a like and your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe so I can see you again. For now though, bye. Hello pile 3. I have already shuffled our cards so we can go ahead and begin. So right off the bat, we have for your pile a card that reads, I wasn't ready for commitment. So you turn the heads of people who are players. Long nails is a feature that came out for you that turns heads. So perhaps if not long nails, then maybe you have long fingers. I must say, for your pile 3, out of all the piles, your pile was the most mysterious, the most worthy of fantasy. And what I mean by that is you stir the most fantasy in others out of all the piles. And we have coming out here for planetary placements, midheaven in Cancer, as well as in Libra and Scorpio. My goodness. So as far as your career, reputation, and public life goes, it's all water. You are the most alluring of all the piles. When it comes to your reputation and how others view you, they view you as nurturing, someone who offers emotional support, someone who is intimate oriented, if not home oriented, someone who is focused on partnerships and diplomacy and creative endeavors, and someone who is transformative, into research and intense. Your intensity turns heads. And what's interesting here, coming from midheaven and Scorpio, to a card that reads, balance 2 worlds while staying true to yourself. I think Scorpio is all about walking that fine line. And I have a deck that I made that is based off mermaids and mermaid related symbology, and it has everything to do with one's siren call and how they express themselves in a seductive sense, I guess. your pile had the most cards come out from that deck. We have you instill in others a deep soul numbing lethargy, a sense of stillness. And like, honestly, that may sound bad at first, but I'm getting the image of like a mermaid like languishing on a rock. You know, they're always resting. Mermaids are always resting. And I feel like you invite others into like the fantasy space for rest. You instill within others a feeling of trepidation and maybe some fear. I started to say that. The next card is actually panic. With trepidation, we have a hesitant step into the unknown. You know, people don't know what they're getting into when they get into it with you. Whenever they become associated with you, they don't know what the fantasy holds. So they have apprehension. Their fears take shape. They may even experience beyond fear and panic and trepidation, rage. So it looks like you experience within others like extreme emotions. You stir within others extreme emotions. And that's so funny. You are very like connected to the moon and your emotive space, your moon space, and the literal moon and the moon cycles and whatnot. But our next card, we have Whirlpool, representing spiraling emotions, inescapable forces. People feel pulled and like they can't escape you. You know, in the siren song, it pulls people to their death. People feel like you are an inescapable force that they're lured to. And it has a lot to do with the intensity and transformative nature of your emotional space or your emotional currents, if you want to stay on theme with what we've been discussing. We have next Seahorse Carousel, representing nostalgia in the cycle of life. This card reads, childhood memories, cycles of life, joy in the moment, repetitive patterns. I think you offer people a sense of freedom from the routine, you know, freedom from the cycles, freedom from the tidal waves. The next card we have is Tidal Wave. Overwhelming emotions and change, major life shifts, emotional overwhelm, destruction and renewal, unstoppable force. You know, I think part of the fear that people feel with you, you know, and this wasn't supposed to be a fear-based reading or like what intimidates others about you, but your beauty intimidates others, and like your aura and your essence, the energy you hold, it intimidates others. It's like people know that if they were to get involved with you, it would be like a force that they can't control. So like whatever unravels by them encountering you and engaging with you, they wouldn't be able to stop the unraveling. So like they know that they need to be sure that they're ready for the fantasy of you, essentially, like in what that entails in their head. You know, for some people wouldn't be able to handle having you in their lives, is what this is feeling like, you know, and they know bringing you into their life, it might unravel many things, and so they choose to sort of stay away and just ogle instead. I'm hearing we have the kelp forest here, representing protection and nourishment, shelter, growth, interconnectedness, thriving under pressure. You know, I'm getting the image of a clam and a pearl, and I feel like you are like the clam. And many people know that in becoming engaged with you, they have the possibility of becoming the pearl. That's what they know. They know that you're the clam, you could make them the pearl. And we have lastly, and it's kind of beautiful because we were just talking about pearl, but we have mermaid's necklace, connection to the divine in nature, spiritual connection, sacred adornment, linking past to present, honoring tradition. You make people realize what their best self is. So even if they are they don't feel like they could be that with you, they walk away 2552 on the timer as I say this, knowing what it is they need to do to level up. And it's interesting, 2552 mirrors. So it's like they're coming up to you and then witnessing the reflection and then walking away. That's what I'm getting from that. But from the memes deck that I have, we have Clueless, the quote, as if, coming through. So it's like people feel like you are very unattainable. And we also have Nacho Libre, the quote, those eggs were a lie, Steven, a lie. So people feel like your fantasy conquers all other fantasies. Like the fantasy of yours, they can't slip anything back. Nobody can slip an illusion past you because you are the ultimate illusion. Like people fantasize about you and you are the ultimate fantasy. So it's hard to sell you a fantasy. It's hard to get one over on you. So you turn heads because you are one smart cookie, I'm hearing. We have, for qualities, we have specific, immature, and I'm getting the image of Ariel on The Little Mermaid where she's collecting the trinkets and stuff, and one of them is a fork and she's brushing her hair with it. It's one might call that immature to brush your hair with a fork, but in the context, you create context within your fantasy. And it makes your insanities become sane. And people are trying to make sense of that. We also have agree, daytime, balance, and overindulgence. I get the sense that you overindulge perhaps and like to overindulge and enable others to overindulge, and they look to that. For figures from history, we have Oscar Wilde representing the witty rebel. You turn heads because of your individuality, your charm, and your defiance. We also have Nietzsche, I believe it's pronounced, the firebrand philosopher. You turn heads for, again, your individualism, but also for your strength and your transformation. We have Frida Kahlo here, representing pain and passion, your authenticity, your resilience, and your creativity. Coming back to that fork, hair comb, people might not do that. Maybe some people wouldn't do that because they're it's childish, it's blah blah blah, but to you are just being your authentic self, and your flame is crazy high right now, but you are just being your authentic self. And I think many people are scared of being their selves, and in you being your authentic self, you mesmerize others. And the last figure from history, we have Mother Teresa representing the compassionate soul, service, humility, and devotion. This is coming back to, your reputation being just strictly water signs. People feel your service to others, your devotion to your heart and to others, and your humility. This card reads, your kindness is your legacy. I think you're the type to leave a lasting impression in another, on the heart of another, because of an act of kindness that you did, that they witnessed. And I think bad boys, bad girls, they want to be tamed by you. On this card we have, if I can get it to kind of focus, maybe there's a girl running through this forest of lollipops, and she has like a bee on a leash. She's not really focused on the fact that she has the bee on the leash, or she's not really running from anything in particular, but she is running with the bee, and she is running. You do run wild. And I think, it makes people who run wild want to be tamed by you, but you're not even interested in that. You offer people like the ultimate. People feel like you are like, I'm just hearing like ding ding ding, and slot machines like lining up. Like, people feel like you are the pinnacle of illusion and fantasy, the pinnacle of temptation. What they wish for. When their imagination runs wild, it runs to you. You are a distraction. And many would call you an unrealistic goal. And to many, if not all, you are their dream girl guy. So, pile 3, we are going to leave your reading off there. I hope that was super informative. If it was, don't forget to leave a like and your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe so I can see you again. For now though, bye!